Hey friends, this is Chaplain Charles Riffey again here with you as we continue our survivorship series with integrative health at Massey Cancer Center. I'm very excited to actually talk about this particular topic today because it's not one that I just recommend for other people. It's one that I do consistently on my own, and that is the idea of self-care in journaling. So I have one of many that I brought with me today that I use, and this particular one that I have today is what I call my reading journal. So it's not necessarily one that deals with free writing or the emotions of the day. It deals with things that I'm reading for fun, things that I'm reading for my own edification, or things that I'm struggling with and want to know more about. I write down what I think is important, and it also reaches me to recognize things that I may have not realized before. So it's always a good way to reflect and to go back to later down the road. One of the many different things that we can do. So as we begin this particular talk, which is part one of two, involving journaling, and then the second part next month will actually be taking about how we utilize what we do in our journaling. I'm going to share my screen with you so that you can join me and see what I'm doing. And despite what I'm saying, you can also sort of just see what offerings are there. Not exhaustive by any means. It is a small snapshot of what I have seen done, what others that I've met here, those going through a cancer journey, those in their survivorship journey have discussed being helpful from time to time based on who they are, what they value, and where they are in that journey. So here we go. We're going to start primarily just talking about the particular benefits that one can have when they start journaling. It provides a sense of space, regardless of how we feel. Anxious, angry, joyful, steadfast. Sometimes we can't put words to it by our lips, but if we provide space and time and writing it down, we can look back and understand, well, how is it that we really feel? We know also studies have shown that by being able to articulate and to process in artistic ways or creative ways or literary ways are actual significant stress reducers within one's journey, especially when we need the best of ourselves and a sense of peace in maintaining the strength that's needed for different treatments that go along. If you're a list person, I'm not a list person. Like my brother, who I love very, very much, who keeps me grounded in many different ways. Journaling in different ways can also provide clarity. It can help us to understand our tasks. It can help us to look back at the successes we have accomplished when we think that we haven't accomplished anything. But above all, in our focus or the clarity that we seek, we become much more aware of our emotional health. And that's what we call resilience again, which is what we talked about in past renditions of this survivorship series. This first aspect of journaling is not one, it's more of a thematic way of looking at how we can use writing as part of our healing process or part of our time and just reflecting on the past, what we're currently doing, or even into the uncertain future. That story is yet to be told. It's called stream of consciousness journaling, or one may have heard this free writing, that you were given a task based on your energy level to just simply open up without any particular agenda and start writing. There is, in that way, there's no desire to need to stay on one linear thought. And the reason for the importance of this sort of stream of consciousness writing is to give freedom to acknowledge in writing what your brain's actually doing. Many times when we feel anxious, our mind is all over the place and it's circling about, did I leave the gas on, but I forgot to lock the door. I still need to pick up the kids. I need to go grocery shopping. Man, am I tired? I need to take a break. When was the last time I went to the gym? All of those things, sometimes we bottle up and we don't process. And we just assume that it's this normal thing that can actually continue to tailspin. Journaling and being able to provide a sense of that freedom, free writing, or the morning minute, You could write a particular word or a phrase or a sentence and let that be it. Reflect upon it later. You can designate 10 minutes in the morning to be a part of your day and free writing. Studies have shown that there is a level of alertness early in the morning that we don't typically have later at night, which is why this has become sort of a big thing. And an unsent letter. This is something that's sort of like that unsent email. I think the letter is a little bit safer for us because sometimes I have accidentally clicked the button that made something send and probably didn't think through all the things that I wanted to say. The unsent letter can be all sorts of things. It can be a gratitude letter, an opportunity to try to tell somebody exactly who they are to you or exactly what something has been to you. It can be something about a hurt also or a joy. And by just allowing the opportunity to get something done, knowing that you are writing about a person or an event without any agenda of it having to be good, bad, or whatever, it's something that can actually be very cathartic, which I think is sort of the process behind that. You don't need anything expensive. All you need is a pen or pencil and paper and the grace to provide yourself a little bit of time to just trust that words matter and that you do have something to say even if you feel that you don't. That's the beauty about free writing. There's always going to be something that comes up. The next is something that I do not do, but I have seen other people do this quite well. And it has been life-giving. So many people that I meet say that nature is the thing that connects them to a sense of hope or their prayer life. Sometimes it's looking at art or trying to not only put your emotions or thoughts or memories into words, but actually trying to recall the pictures that we have in our minds and spend intentional time recreating them to find what focal points through artistic expression really spoke to you or made you feel connected. It provides a different lens of how we can look past ourselves in what we've encountered, whether it be hardship or joy within the medical journey, or the transitions, the many transitions that are faced in the midst of survivorship. So art journaling doesn't have to be anything in particular like painting or coloring, although that is a big aspect of it. It is a process through visualization of some form. People do it with scrapbooking as well to make sense of what is going on through our emotions. And I know a lot of people that do that or have spoken in the midst of receiving care that when they are able to meet with art therapists, that they finally feel grounded in the midst of a very clinical space. So art journaling is one of those aspects that we can sort of encounter. And this next topic is something that is definitely a gloss or overview. It is one of those things where it's not necessarily geared toward a prose expression of what we're doing, how we're doing. It is a fun exercise to actually build lists, if you will, or reflective writing on things that have provided senses of joy and then realizing different patterns. So the reading journal that I shared with you a little earlier in this talk was an example of that. You see in this picture the idea of all the different books that somebody has read. They're definitely what I would call a bibliophile. That's a lot of books. You see the second page that's sort of blurred out by this book journal, but they were able to have agency and being able to rate why they liked what they liked. And it's a good way when we feel that there are things that we can't do, like when we think of the pandemic, and a lot of us needed to be more careful about how we proceeded in our personal and face-to-face relations with other individuals. It's very easy to think, well, we're not doing anything. But the beauty about reading or the beauty about writing and reflecting about that is we create worlds ourselves that have also been created by other people. and we connect in very important ways, whether it's fiction or nonfiction that we're partaking in. Hobby journals, being able to take a look at lists. I think of like favorite foods, recipes, things you want to try, things you love, being your own food critic. These are ways to actually just sort of spark the creative side and keep our minds focused on things that are life-giving and seem almost like an empowering aspect of our identity. I, for one, love comedy. You will never see me on Saturday Night Live. I'm not that funny, but man, does it feel good to laugh. So whenever I've had a hard day, I love to basically memorize routines that I see in stand-up, or I will watch different comedic outlets and things of that nature. For me, I would write down quotes from Ron Swanson in Parks and Recreation. That would bring me a lot of joy. List and bullet journaling. This is the fourth iteration of what I wanted to offer to you. This is a very creative way, but you need not be intimidated by all of the color and the detail that you see. There's this wonderful website, which I think is actually like just bulletjournaling.org, that provides some insight into ways that you can get organized in visual and tangible, touchable ways, especially if you're dealing with having 3 different emails, or you have people communicating to you through a phone or text or email, or it's one way to just sort of keep something close to you that you can reflect upon. It is a consistent model of doing things. Bullet journaling can deal with emotions. It can deal with tasks of the day. It can deal with remembrances of things that you value and you want to check in with. And the brilliant thing is that even though it's something small, it doesn't have lines in it, you're free to create whatever space you need. Not everything needs to be the same. And my brother, though he does not do bullet journaling, this would be the thing that I think would resonate very much with him. It's the opportunity to actually see tasks and then make it flow in a logical procession toward this sense of completion. And if you're a person that needs to see a finished and end product, that brings you some sense of control and sense of peace, bullet journaling might be the thing that you need. And this is another example of sort of list building. I think that you could probably put this in with the previous reading and hobby journal to some degree, because thematically you can use different techniques to actually create and find a similar function and outcome for the thoughts that you need to get down, the thoughts that you need to get out, and the ways that you can connect that bring a sense of harmony. So one of the aspects that I love that integrative health does is we have statistics showing that even if you spend just 5 intentional minutes a day focusing on the things that, even though when you feel out of control, that people are not hearing you, things of that nature, which would my primary feeling would probably be isolated or angry. That's me. Some people might feel sad or worried. Some might feel scared or disenchanted. Whenever all of the stresses of the day are there, simply being focused on either hope or things that we are grateful for actually can pay dividends, because we start to look at the circumstances that repeat in time and again. On Mondays, this always happens. On Tuesdays, this always happens. I remember that family is intentional to call once a week at the very least on a Sunday with my particular family. It's a way to connect, even though we may be states and states and states away. The distance is huge. And I love this little picture because it sort of combines 2 different motifs, or 2 different modes of journaling. One is that artistic expression, that art journal, and you see all these triangles, not to be confused with triangulation, but all of these places that look connected, and then areas of disconnect, but everything at various points at various angles comes together. And it's mentioning names and people that are important to the person that created this piece of work. So gratitude journal is something that was created you can find it in different places, but Massey actually has one that they created, which I love, the integrative health department. Before I was able to join, they fill it with inspirational quotes. And then different days. It's a very small place. It's not something that you have to work on for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, hours on end, although you're welcome to do that. It's the ability to stop for one moment and recognize what is good. I hear from a lot of people the fact that somebody asked me if I needed a blanket, the fact that somebody looked me in the eye, the fact that somebody treated me like a person and not a number, that made a difference. The fact that I was able to eat something and the taste was what I remembered it to be. I'm grateful that people in my church called to check in with me. I'm thankful that my child, who I was worried about, is safe and doing okay. All of these little things in the midst of our minds when they feel again that we've got all these swirling ideas and tasks and perceptions going around, just simple moments of being able to write something down, to look at it, to reflect on it. It reminds us of our values. It reminds us of sources of meaning and connection, and it provides statistical strength and fortitude and resilience to move forward. These are just a few of the examples that I wish to offer for you today. And there's so many more. Let me stop sharing real quick. There we go. There are so many more ways that we can look into our minds and our hearts when we need to reflect, especially if we don't know where to begin. So my encouragement to whoever is watching this is whether you are a person that was a patient at one time, you're a mother or a father, you're a family member, you're a caregiver, you're a caretaker. There is a lot that we hold inside, and there are a lot of preconceived notions of what is okay and what isn't okay to talk about. And even though I think that in our spiritual and our mental health, we have moved a lot, we've made a lot of progress in being able to talk about the fact that just because you can't see something as a problem, like a skinned knee, whenever you fall off your bike as a kid and you need a Band-Aid, it doesn't mean that that pain or that hurt or that need to just simply talk and connect isn't there. It's very real. I would encourage just to simply get a small piece of paper, or if you feel blocked with writing in a particular way, but you know that you can use your fingers and you type like lightning on a computer to simply create a space in a document and a time to intentionally do at least this idea of free writing. Again, this is my reading journal. It's not a free writing journal, but this, among many that I have, provides space to just say day 3, March 2022, or day 67, September 19th, 2022. And then I begin. I might start talking about a dream that I had. Not that I ever really remember my dreams anymore. I might talk about the fact that I'm hungry and I haven't had my coffee today, and then end up all the way about, I remember reading this thing and it helped me in such a way that I connected, and I looked at my understanding of my family, my understanding of myself, my understanding of my prayer life, and I really need to reorient myself and just provide the reality that what I'm doing is enough, and that's okay. You never know where it's going to go, and part of the beauty is just being able to release it. And as you join next time that we talk about, we're going to be able to take a look at real tangible ways at how you can look back and proactively utilize what you have done to sort of look for patterns ahead or ways to further enrich what you're doing, or to try to acknowledge what you're doing and see what might change in order to either enhance something that is good, or to reframe and move past or move through those things that have been hurtful or harmful to us. So again, my love is with all of you, and I thank you for the joy and the open hearts that you bring into wanting to advocate for your own care, for your heart, your body, your mind, and your spirit. If this has been a help to you as you watch this on Facebook, I hope that you'll provide comments of things that you would like to explore moving forward. If this has been helpful to you, and you feel like this could be a benefit to somebody else, simply share the link. And I look forward to talking with you again next month. Again, I'm Charles Riffey, one of the chaplains here at VCU Massey, and I pray that you have a good day and a blessed day. Thank you.